Hello everyone, in this video I want to talk about the Pulse 3D headsets for the PlayStation 5. Well, not just the PlayStation 5, but they will be released when the PlayStation 5 is released. Now the other thing just to keep in mind before we continue talking is that the design specification for the headset are subject to change without notice. Same goes to the PlayStation 5, alright? So let's go on and see why one should be so excited about these new headsets. Now, before we jump into more technical details, I want to share something, about me using headphones in games on the PlayStation 4. Now, on the PlayStation 4, I use a Turtle Beach headset. I remember first using earbuds, and then I remember the difference in sound was just mind-blowing for me. Later on, I replaced it with another headset for MSI thing, and then even after I didn't play a lot, after some time where I traveled, I remember when I bought the headset, when I came back, I remember that the difference was kind of a big difference. In favor of the Turtle Beach. But again, it depends of course on the model, but a very cheap headset for MSI. And I remember the difference, and it was so important that I felt like I'm almost playing like a different game. When I play first-person shooters, it just felt like kind of something that make me feel like I'm there, more immersive with the game, than kind of like watching something like somebody else playing a game. Now, more discussion about audio sound, especially spatial audio, is usually related to virtual reality, when you wear a headset, and where it's very important for you when you are present in the 3D world to be immersed with the experience, so you feel like you're there, to experience sounds in their exact location. For example, if something comes from downstairs, you want the sound to feel like it's coming from downstairs. Again, you are in the 3D world, right? You are part of it. So if something comes from behind, you really want the exact location, maybe behind on the left, behind on the right, and just imagine playing kind of a horror game where you can just walk, for example, in woods, and you hear some kind of footsteps behind you. Now, usually when 3D audio is not present, what developers are doing are try to, for example, increasing the sounds, the volume, when you get closer to the source of the sound, or where when you're getting a bit back, the volume is reduced. Same goes to just putting sounds in stereo from both left and right. But usually you don't really know the exact location when the sound is coming from. Now, still, it doesn't matter if you're playing virtual reality or regular game, still having 3D audio will allow you to be immersed further in the game, because you will get to feel where sound is coming from like you do in real life. And it's not just being immersed, but also it's important for some games. For example, let's imagine you're playing a first-person shooter, right? And by the way, I've seen it so many times, people complaining about not knowing exactly where sounds are coming from. So for example, in a first-person shooter, when somebody is walking, for example, near a wall near you on the other side, maybe in a room, you can hear the exact location. Maybe be ready when you hear footsteps are coming very, very close to you. Now, if you don't have it, you kind of get confused, and it happens, by the way, in so many games, first-person shooter games, where I thought for a moment that I hear sounds coming from this location, where actually the player appears from another location. And I heard that in many games, by the way. It didn't just happen to me, it happened for many players, and I heard many complaints about that. Now I'm going to give you a particular example. Let's say Valorant, right? Valorant is a first-person shooter game where footsteps can be very crucial, the sound of the footsteps. When you walk, other players can actually hear you. It's actually very silent, you don't have kind of music running in the background. The idea is in this competitive shooter is to really listen and see where enemies are located, and then change your strategies based on that information. Alright, now let's go back into the headset. Now, one thing you need to keep in mind that the 3D audio technology, the hardware, is actually embedded in the PlayStation 5, rather than having a peripheral which is embedded in the peripheral itself. Now, I did read on Wired.com where they had an interview with Mark Cerny, and I'm going to quote here, while headphones will be the optimal way to experience 3D audio, PlayStation 5 will be capable of delivering the technology through your regular setup, even just your TV speakers. So basically, the Pulse 3D wireless headset is actually, and it's written very clear, white on black on PlayStation.com, it says fine-tune for 3D audio. Now, just a line below it said, The Pulse 3D wireless headset has been specifically tuned to deliver the 3D audio made possible by the PlayStation 5 console. So the technology itself is inside the console. By the way, it's powered by Tempest 3D AudioTech, and we're going to talk about it in a moment. But again, you don't need the headset itself in order to experience 3D audio. But as we know, Sony makes amazing headsets for the PlayStation. The official ones are really great. So we definitely can expect this one to be kind of a perfectly fit the technology and utilize it in the best way possible, or at least a very, very high level. Now, of course, you need to consider other technology in the headset, but I'm going to talk about it a bit later after we finish talking about the 3D audio technology itself. So the important thing of this technology is to enhance presence. And we probably heard this term related to in virtual reality, where you want players to really feel presence in the world. Now, although of course this is not virtual reality and you're going to experience it through the screen, this technology is very important for virtual reality games. And as we know, PlayStation 5 supports VR, PlayStation VR. So this is not just for regular games, but very important for virtual reality games. Now we can imagine that Sony does have different strategies to go with virtual reality down the road. So definitely having a dedicated hardware for 3D audio inside the console is probably part of the strategies. And maybe we're going to see different type of headset which are maybe even smaller and lighter because some of the hardware is actually present in the console and not in the headset itself, in the PlayStation VR headset. Actually, Mike Cerny in his PlayStation VR presentation actually shares some information about the PlayStation VR headset, the current version of the PlayStation VR. And he said that it has its own audio unit with offering 50 different 3D sound sources. So it seems like it definitely had a limit there. And of course, here now we are talking about a dedicated hardware in the PlayStation 5, which of course is much more advanced and can provide future virtual reality headset for the PlayStation to offer much more advanced audio capabilities. And another thing related to the presentation, and I'm going to again quote, Mike Cerny said that here are our goals for audio on PlayStation VR. The first goal was to create audio for not just VR users or soundbars owners or headphone users. That meant audio had to be part of the console. It couldn't be a peripheral. So now you can clearly see that the goal for Sony is to separate the audio component, put it in the PlayStation so everyone can enjoy it, right? Regardless of what sound of type of audio source they are listening to when they're playing games. Second, he said, the second goal is to support hundreds of sound sources. Alright, this means that developers who actually making games won't need to actually choose whether this sound source will be 3D audio, have a 3D effect, and the other one won't. So they wanted really to allow developers to have hundreds of different sound sources, which all have dimensionality, as he said. This means that, for example, he gave a great example. Saying about raindrops, right? When you want to present rain in the game, you're gonna use just a raindrops effect, right? Just you're gonna put a sound effect, probably a sound file. You just plays the sound of rains. But what if you can just take a sound of a raindrop and just position it in different locations for each actually place where the raindrop is dropped in the 3D space. Right? This will increase presence and make the sound effect appear more realistic to the user. Now, as of the time of making this video, we don't know the price of this headset. Although in an article what hi-fi.com, they said that the Twitter user Ironman PS5 claims that to have an intel on pricing, which mentioned the price of $159 US. But again, keep in mind this is not official, and we know the number when Sony releases the official price when it does. So, alright, let's move on to the technology. Now, usually I'm interested to learn more about than just seeing kind of beautiful names. And we know that the headset, the 3D Pulse 3D wireless headset, so many names, is powered by Tempest 3D AudioTech. So first of all, I wanted to know, what is Tempest 3D AudioTech? Well, it's quite simple. Well, that's the name they gave to this audio unit that is embedded on the PlayStation 5. First I thought maybe it's gonna based on certain technology for others. Well, actually, when I read about it, yes, it's actually based on AMD's GPU's technology. Well, it seems that the goal is to to use a sound processing unit and take the advantage of parallelism of the GPUs to allow the audio to process information faster and create something that can actually support these advanced and kind of expensive computations that are required for 3D audio. Now, also, Mark Cerny mentioned that they could have used a simpler strategy, like using Dolby Atmos peripherals to use this to achieve their goals, but they wanted 3D audio for all, not just those with licensed audio bars or proprietary headsets. You can see that the clear benefits here is you don't need to, developers don't need to match different type of hardware and what type of audio unit they have. It's not in the peripheral, it's inside the console. So developers can only target that one, and it will be supported for different type of hardwares. And this is a huge, huge advantage. Now, of course, what we talk about here is about the technology inside the PlayStation 5. Now, back to the headset. As we can see, the headset was designed by Sony to really match the performance of the audio computing hardware inside the PlayStation 5. Now, when you are optimizing things for the headset, things can be even better in terms of experience because we know where the headset, the speakers are actually located, compared to if you do it and try to optimize it for stereo speakers that are positioned in different places in the room. Now, the one thing that is actually, I think it's missing here, you're probably going to see it maybe in future headsets, is actually something that related to dynamic Hrtf. So rather than sampling many people's ear and see actually how their head size, their ear and everything, how they actually perceive sound in space, having something that can actually scan your maybe head size or scan your ear and then can adapt to provide you with a perfect Hrtf that fits your body. So Sony actually scanned maybe thousands of people, hundreds of people, and created this average and default Hrtf. But what happens if the same technology they use for those people to scan maybe the head or their ear size, dimension, and shape, they can do this inside the headphone itself. Now that would be something, and we can expect this to happen in the future, right? Right now, probably this technology is very expensive, maybe very computational expensive, and of course, it will make the headset itself, or maybe the hardware needed for this inside the console itself, much more expensive. So, but we can expect this thing to be available in the future, not for the PlayStation 5. I mean, in the future, somewhere in the future. Now, I heard that there are other type of technologies where actually the sound rendered in 3D is being transformed, adjusted based on the location of the user in the virtual reality world. And this is for virtual reality because if you play a room scale game, for example, you have a location in the 3D space when you move. So the audio will actually adjust based on that location. Now, I'm not an expert on this and I just read a few articles here and there, but the thing is that we have a long way to go until we kind of nail it perfectly. But this is kind of another step forward. Now, the other thing that Pulse 3D headset has is noise cancellation using dual hidden microphones. Now the thing is that from what I understand, this is just for from the microphone. This means that when you talk, noise is actually cancelled. But I don't think it's active noise cancellation, which means that it can actually deduct noises in the background and kind of cancel them, so you won't hear them in the speakers. Now, Sony does have this type of headset, but this is not this headset. And of course, I know if you search for Bose headset, and there are many companies who make this type of active canceling, and this is amazing, by the way. I tried it at the store. I just put the headset without even listening to anything. You just put it, and suddenly everything is quiet. It's just amazing, just amazing. But again, if you know anything about active noise cancellation, let me know in the comment section below. For what I understand, no, but again, I don't have precise information about it, nor I find something on the official page. And so if you know anything about it, let me know in the comment section below. So overall, the Pulse 3D looks like a great headset to complement this amazing audio technology that that Sony put in the PlayStation 5. Now, I do of course expect it to be very, very good, but how good? Well, we need to wait and see when the headset is released. So this is all the information I have for you today. Of course, we can jump further into details, and there are plenty of details of this technology, but I won't bore you with kind of more hardware specific information, although I personally need to read more about it in order to learn more about this technology. But you know, this kind of on the surface, a bit down. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you have anything to add, let me know in the comment section below. And consider subscribing to my channel. And thanks for watching. I see you on the next video. Bye everyone. Cheers.